Hey guys, it's Miss Schrader here, and I know I'm not with you in person today, but here I am, somehow magically still here. Today what you're going to do is you're going to do some practice for me to really demonstrate that you are understanding the multiple representations that are associated with these proportional graphs. And remember, we know a graph is proportional if it goes through 0, 0, it makes a straight line. You're going to be able to find a constant in it. So I'm going to do this video as a model for you. And then you're going to have 4 problems that are due to me by the end of class that you are going to do on a self-paced Nearpod. So let me kind of work through this with you. And then you can go back and rewatch this video as much as you need to make sure that you understand what you're doing. So, first thing I'm looking at, this is the speed of a sloth. And we see this graph, and I know that it's always going to help me if I can find some points where I actually know what the point is. So, like right here, that's one that I can clearly see. 0, 0. Let me use a different marker. The next one I like right here. Do you see how this point has like the vertical and the horizontal are crossing? So that's like a great point. Another one's right here. Like I can see that's a horizontal and a vertical. The red line's right going through them. And this point right here is a great point. Now, I can, of course, name these points. So, like, this one's really obvious to see to me. This is 1 on the x-axis, and it goes with 6 on the y. So that's, like, one of the points. Down here, this one is, like, 0.00, right? And so one of the activities I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put them into a table. So I can do that right now. 0, 0, 1, 6. Let's see another one. Let's see, what would this be? Obviously it's 3 there, but if it's halfway between 0 and 1, then it would be 0.5 or a half, and then 3. Okay, and if I go up here, let's see, that, oh, it's halfway between 1 and 2, so that would obviously be 1.5. So this is 1.5 goes with 9. Okay? Now, I do have like one more in here I'm going to have to fill out. I can wait and do that in a little bit. So even if the ones I give you today, you only have 2 points you can find, that's okay. I'm going to teach you how you can get more points on here, even if they're not on the graph. So they're asking me for an equation. Now, remember, we learned that if you have a proportional relationship, you can write an equation like this. You can write in the form y equals kx. And the k stands for the slope, right? It really stands for the constant of proportionality is what we call it, but that's the same thing as the slope. So if I find the slope, I'm going to figure this out. Well, I know how to find the slope by doing like the rise over run. So like if I went from 0.00 and I went up and then I went over. Well, what's going on there? It's going up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's rising by 6, and then it's running by 1, 2. But yet we know these are counted by half. So 2 blocks is actually just 1 full. Like, see how it's going from 0 over to the number 1? So that's running by just 1. So if I were to do like the rise over run, it would be rise by 6 and run by 1. And we know, of course, 6 divided by 1 is 6. So the slope in this case is 6. So if I wrote this equation, it would be y is equal to 6x. So you can see if you can figure out the slope, then you're going to be fine on writing an equation. Now think about what that means. That means for every x value, you multiply it by 6 and you'll get the y, which, by the way, totally makes sense on our graph, or on our table, sorry. Like if I do 1 times 6, I get 6. If I do 0.5 and I multiply it by 6, that's half of 6, which is 3. So whatever the x value is, we're literally multiplying it by 6 to get the y. So that means I can fill out this last part of this table by like putting any number I want to in for x. So I'm going to put the number 100, let's say. Well, 100, like 100 is clearly not on this graph, right? But it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't have to be a point on the graph for me to know in the table what it should be because it's times 6. So like 100 times 6 ends up being 600. Okay. So I've got the top row done. I'm going to come to the meaning of the slope for a minute. Let's focus on that because we were just talking about slope up here. So remember, slope is always that rise, which, by the way, the rise is your y-axis. And then the run is your x. So we just figured out the slope was 6 over 1, so I'm going to write that. And then I'm going to take the labels from here to make meaning of it. So the label on the y is a distance in feet. So this is saying 6 feet. And the 1 on the run is in time. It's minutes per minute. Well, to make meaning of this slope fully, let's put it in the context. This is about the speed of a sloth. So the sloth moves at a rate of 6 feet per minute. So when you go to do this box for me, what I'm looking for when you say meaning of the slope is I'm looking for a sentence that's explaining it. Now, doing this work up here was really helpful for me to figure that out, but the sentence is what I'm looking for. So the vertical intercept, that's where your line hits the y-axis. So the y-axis is this axis over here. And we can see the line is actually hitting at this point right here at 0.00. So I'm going to say the vertical intercept is at 0, 0. That means your x is 0 and your y is 0. Well, think about what x means. X's are talking about minutes. So at 0 minutes. And y is talking about the feet. So at 0 minutes, the sloth has literally moved no feet, which makes sense. Like if no time has passed, then the sloth wouldn't move. So we put this into a sentence. The meaning, at 0 minutes, the sloth has moved 0 feet or no feet. Oh. All right, so when I'm looking at your meaning of your vertical intercept, again, I'm wanting the sentence. So I do think like this work up here makes it so helpful for you to figure out, but I want a sentence. The last one, the scenario, I'm actually going to give you choices on this one. So there's going to be 4 choices of what you can choose from. So you'll circle the right one. I'm going to, for me, just write one for you guys. So at this rate, meaning at the 6 feet every 1 minute, I'm going to write blank feet would be traveled in blank minutes. So like right here in the chart, we knew this. Remember, your X is your minutes. So here we see 100 minutes. And then the Y is the feet. So 600 feet would be traveled in 100 minutes. So that could work. Another one, like anything that has that relationship would work. So like another one I could think of is if I had 270 here, then that would have only been like 45 minutes. So this, like I said, this one's going to be a multiple choice one where you're picking the right one. So your next job is to go and do the 4 slides on the self-paced Nearpod. You are going to write the equation for me, fill out the table, circle the right scenario, explain the meaning of the slope, and explain the meaning of the vertical intercept. Be sure to ask your teacher if you have any questions, and I hope this really helps you guys. See you when I get back.